I'm Emma.
I'm Kim.
And we are
TEK Talk.
Welcome to our history hangout. This is episode 4. And so grab your passports because today we're going to the Romanticism era.
That was off.
Alright guys, what piece should we start with first?
I think we should start with The Wanderer Above the Sea of Fog. Emma, can you describe this piece?
You know it. Wander above the sea fog. So wander. Wander Above the Sea of Fog was painted by a German romantic artist, Caspar David Friedrich. It was created in 1818, and it was a oil on canvas work that measures around, I think it's 37.3 to 29.4 inches. It's actually kind of small compared to most things that we've seen in the past and, like, some of the things that we had in our last episode. Like I was saying before, we just rudely interrupted by somebody looking at us. The painting kind of depicts a lone figure standing on top of a rocky cliff, gazing out over like a vast mist-covered landscape of mountains and valleys, and we can kind of almost feel like he has like a higher level of like position. I don't know, it kind of seems like he's very important, and I feel like it's definitely a defining work of Romanticism, and it kind of gives us a contemplative view. So I just feel like this is a really important piece. And also there's like, it's like a known thing that like there's like a lot of like video games. Stop.
Why it live perfectly in my box though every time?
Bro. Stop, you scare me. Why would you do that? You just scared me. Okay, like I was saying before Kim interrupted me. So you can see like in a lot of modern art and a lot of like modern things, just like video games and like cover pages of things, there's like a lot of artwork that looks very, very similar to The Wanderer Above the Sea Fog. Kim, why do you think this piece is as important as it is?
This painting is a powerful symbol of sublime, which has the core ideals of romantic movement. The way Friedrich positions the figure with his back turned, just like the the Rukin figure. It encourages the viewers to step into a place, making the experience deeply personal. It speaks to human emotion, nature, vastness.
Well, we're out here, guys, because you know the Romanticism is all about nature, so we just wanted to go outside.
Perfect. And the mastery of existence. And universal themes that still resonate today. Alrighty. Emma, what did you think about this piece?
On the top of my head here, all I can think about...
Literally on the top of you?
On the top of my head, I believe that it's like, honestly, I think that it's a very important piece throughout our history, and that, like I was saying, like, I think it's deeply influenced, like, a lot of types and forms of art that now we see in modern art, which is kind of crazy that, like, one thing... Oh, there was something in my hair. That... I just think it's kind of crazy that, like, one thing or one type or form of art can, like, influence so many things we see today. Like, there was like specific examples I like citing back to, you know, when we were learning in class. There was so many things that Mr. Reynolds was like, oh, does this look familiar? Does this look familiar? And it was like, oh, like, I didn't even notice that this all looked like these types of art. So kind of going off of like what I just said, Kim, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think it's I think it's a very like important piece, like especially when you're like seeing references around it everywhere, even in games. It's very it's the fact that it's still relevant today, but even though you got some people like don't know that it is, you know, that's what makes it even more special for us. Tyson, what about you? What did you think about this piece?
When I first saw the piece, I was like, wait, you know, this feels a little familiar, and I was like, oh, it's literally the painting from Minecraft.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you can literally see the resemblance, just it's like pixelated in Minecraft, so, you know, it felt very familiar, and I just think it's very important for, like, the Rukin figure, how, like, you can, like, picture yourself in that moment, like, you can, like, picture yourself as the man, because, you know, the Rukin figure, and I think that was pretty cool.
Right.
So, Emma, what is your individual piece?
My piece is Liberty Leading the People, which I think is a really great piece of art. Yeah, I think about it when I go to sleep, when I'm eating, when I'm showering, when I'm brushing my teeth, when I'm cooking, which is not very often. So like I was saying, so this piece is called Liberty Leading the People. It was painted by Eugene, is it Delacroix or Delacroix? Delacroix? Okay. And it was made around 1830. It's like believed to be made around that time, and it can be found in the Louvre, the Louvre Museum in Paris, which also we have learned a lot about in the last like week or so. But it's an oil on canvas painting, and it's very significant. I mean, it measures around like 8 feet by 6 inches to 10 feet by 8 inches. 10 by 8. It's a 8 by 6 and 10 by 8, pretty basically. So it's like pretty big compared to like our shared piece that we were just talking about. And the painting shows a like decisive moment from the July Revolution in France. In the center is Liberty, shown as a strong woman holding the French flag in one hand and a musket in the other. And she's leading a group of people over barricades and fallen bodies, which I think is really crazy. And like, I think that it almost like, I don't know. I believe that this painting is important because it just kind of stands out, and it like mixes real history with like a symbolic meaning behind it. And Delacroix or Delacroix, whatever, however you say his name, he didn't just paint like what happened, but he captured like what it felt like. Like liberty represents the freedom and the determination of the people to like stand up for their rights. And even though like the scene is very, I would say kind of like chaotic, there's like a very clear message of like a unity and like courage. And the painting became like a very powerful symbol of revolution, and it still speaks to people today. I just feel like when I first saw this, I didn't really like understand it that much, and I was like, oh, like yeah, it's pretty cool, but like I guess I didn't take the time to understand it. But after looking at it more closely, I say like I saw a lot of power, and the way like liberty like pushes forward with so much strength and like purpose kind of made me think about what people go through to fight for freedom. And it reminded me that art can be more than just like beautiful. Like it has like a story that still kind of matters today. So going on from mine, we're gonna go into Kim's individual piece, which is
The Raft of Medusa. This is a large painting created by the French artist Theodore Géricault, I think, in 1818 and 1819. Géricault. Yeah.
Jericho? I don't know.
In 1818, 1819. It shows the dramatic and emotional scene of a shipwreck and survivors like stranded on it, like in the middle of the ocean almost. The painting is based on a real-life shipwreck of the French frigate Medusa because of the captain's poor decisions in leading like 140 people and being abandoned on the raft. So the Raft of Medusa was being criticized by the French government because it was showing like tragic results of the shipwreck caused by poor leadership. It depicted scenes of emotional, realistic depictions of human suffering by focusing on like ordinary people instead of like heroes or gods and things like that. So the painting itself highlights a lot of pain and suffer. Yeah, sorry, said that. A lot of pain and the faults of others. It contained a lot of realistic details in it with like a very, very dramatic style. You can really feel like the sense of sorrow radiating off the painting itself. and it's a powerful work of history. So when I first saw this painting, I was very creeped out at first because it was a bunch of people dying, and like, you know, that's very sad. Every time I look at it, it brings me like intensity and like tragedy that happened to those people on that ship. And it's also good to be exposed to something different. You know, you can't always see things as picture perfect all the time. So this is very different compared to our last era, which was the Rococo era. It almost feels like a timeless painting as well, because it symbolizes human suffering, which is, I mean, you know, every human goes through suffering at least once in their life. So yeah. Bro, why are you laughing?
If you aren't suffering now, you're gonna suffer later.
Exactly. Okay, Tyson, are you ready to present us your piece of artwork?
Yes, I am. My painting might be, you know, a little scary at first, but my painting or artifact or whatever is called Saturn Devouring His Son. So the description of Saturn Devouring His Son is it's like a haunting painting by Spanish artist Francisco Goya, created between 1819 and 1823. It is a part of Goya's black painting series, which he painted directly onto like the walls of his home during his dark. He had like an era during his lifetime where he was just like secluded, like he didn't want to go outside, he didn't want to socialize and stuff, so he just painted on the walls, and they just called his paintings the black paintings. The work is a oil mural, later transferred to canvas, and it measures approximately 57 by 32 inches, and the painting depicts the mythological figure Saturn, other known as Cronus in Greek mythology, in the act of violently eating one of his children, which portrays the prophecy of one of his sons that would overthrow him. It's currently housed in the Museo de Prado in Madrid, Spain. I think this is an important painting because it is a powerful example of Goya's shift from traditional commissioned work to deeply personal and often disturbing subject matter. Because like he used to actually paint like Romanticism paintings, like very sweet, and then you can see like the shift between his really sweet artworks to like his very like, you know, horrifying artworks. And it reflects the horror of madness, fear, and human brutality, both personal and societal. And unlike, you know, idolized forms in classical art of like gods, you can see that it's very different in this painting, because in this painting you can see like Saturn is depicted like as almost like a creature instead of like a, you know, idolized god as we've seen in like, you know, classical paintings. And you can see like the raw depiction of, you know, emotion with his use of dark tones. And the painting has, you know, a profound influence on modern and contemporary artists, especially movements like, you know, expressionism and surrealism, which, you know, embrace psychological depth and emotional intensity. And, you know, when we were first shown this piece, I was shocked because, you know, we watched like a Nerdwriter video, and then the video started off with just like crunching of bones, so it was like, yeah, it was very odd. And then when we saw like the painting, we were like shocked because it was kind of like really scary, because you could see like his eyes and how they were just peeping through. It looked like you were like traveling in a cave and you just stumbled upon him, which it felt very chilling, and I was kind of disturbed. And but also I was intrigued by like, you know, the story behind it about like his son, one of his sons one day, it's like a prophecy of his sons overthrowing him and him having to eat every single child, but until, you know, Zeus overthrew him. So I think that this piece was very cool.
So today we went over a good amount of art.
Wanderer
We did
above the sea of fog.
And then you did.
And then I did the Liberty leading her people.
And I did the Raft of Medusa.
And I did Saturn Devouring His Son.
And I feel like we got through a good amount of artwork today. What? It was not even a bug.
It was a little thing.
It was not a bug. But I feel like you're that zebra. She a freak.
Oh, you see that big ass thing just...
But I feel like we got a lot of artwork done, and I'm really happy with everything that we learned. Yeah. Goodbye.
Bye. See you guys in our next season finale episode. Bye.
As we all know, my name is Emma Lemons. I'm the short white girl who hangs out with the two Asians. Okay, so. Bro.
Oh, sorry. Let me go to here.
Oh my gosh, bro.
Oh.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm giving you a lot of. You can clip farm me right now because I've been going like.
Clip farm.
I've been going like this and looking up at the camera because I'm scared of the freaking bugs, bro. You think that you're superior because you're male?
Yeah. You know, you hang around them too much.
You hang around